So here we are, the very beginning of my Layman's AR-15 project. I'm just going to go over some of the basic viewpoints I have on the system before we get started here. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. It's pretty hard trying to collaborate a lot of this stuff in just 15 minutes. But I just want to quickly talk about the reasoning and the basis behind the project. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a complete overview of how to assemble or reassemble your rifle. There's a lot of things that I didn't do, there's a lot of things I didn't cover, but I still felt inclined to be able to share what I had going on. So I'm going to go ahead and go over some points as quickly as I can. The basis for the project is that I'm the average person with a lower to middle class income, and this is pretty much directed at those same types of people who chose to incorporate this type of system in their planning or preparations for some really bad sets of circumstances that may present themselves, and more than likely will present themselves in some of the most inconvenient times and in some of the most inconvenient manners. I just want to share a good, basic, down-the-earth point of view on how to incorporate the AR-15 into your preparing for some really bad sets of circumstances. As far as my case and the reasoning why I came upon incorporating the AR platform into my planning, I have a family and I need to be able to keep providing for them regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the situation. And also, the more I'm prepared to be able to take care of my family in emergency situations, or have my family learn how to be self-sufficient and independent in any state of emergency, that's one less concern for our EMTs, for our police officers. If we're okay, this is one less family that they have to take care of, to where they can go out and focus on other people who are in more need of help than we are, such as the elderly or the disabled, and they'd be able to go and assist those people and be capable of getting back home to take care of their own families. Because my family and I are doing just fine, or doing just as good as we possibly can in the set of circumstances that we're having to deal with. On that basis, to be able to keep providing for my family in those sets of circumstances, putting myself out into harm's way unnecessarily, and if I go out acting like John McClane and end up getting myself hurt, killed, or whatever, there's my family. They don't have me anymore as a foundation. They don't have me anymore to help sustain them. In all reality, I'm wanting them to be just as independent without me as they are dependent with me. But I know that I'd be able to provide for them far more than if I were to do something rash or in haste, which would be completely counterproductive to my end goal. So my first priority is going to be able to preserve and fortify their welfare. With that idea in mind, that is how I set up the system that I plan on implementing with my family when the time comes. So I really hope sharing this with you might give you some insight to where you can fortify your own opinions. This is by far no way trying to tell somebody what's best or better. I'm just wanting to provide a really good solid basis of reference for the average person who somewhere decided to start investigating this a little bit more, just like I had, because there's not a lot of practical knowledge on the internet about this stuff itself, or you come across a how-to video of assembling an AR, and it's usually done in this high-quality production set where these guys have these thousands of dollars worth of tools. It gives people a sense of that they need to have that same environment of that crisp, clean workshop, those thousands of dollars worth of tools to be able to assemble or work on their AR-15 or do basic armor maintenance on their AR-15 platform. You know, I just wanted to give the basic average person a good reference to how simple it is to actually do this type of thing. It's not really all that hard if you got a good mechanical mindset. If you're pretty good and mechanically inclined, if you're a tinkerer, if you like to take things apart and put them back together, you don't have to have these thousands of dollars worth of tools. Uh, for the most part, you might have to buy a few specialty tools. And getting these tools and having these tools are pretty much a basic part of my reasoning for wanting to use the AR-15 system. And through the research that I did, how I was going to manage that system and incorporate it into what I wanted out of it. People buy these rifles to plink with, people buy them to have fun with, people buy them for the cool factor. You know, if they have the money, they can get a tax stamp to get a short-barreled rifle or to put a suppressor on their system, which is cool. I mean, it is cool. I wish I had the money to be able to do that type of stuff. I really do, but I don't. I'm just your average person, you know, with a lower to middle class income, and I have to make sure that my money goes where it's needed. When I started investigating, and I felt like I was pretty knowledgeable about what I was going to do or what I needed for the weapon system, I had to make sure that I spent my money wisely. I had to make sure that I used my resources to their full potential, but at the same time ensuring that I can get what I needed, because I knew that my money sitting in the bank for another year while I still took the time to save up for an exotic weapon system, you know, that costs anywhere from $2,000, $3,000, depending on all the accessories and whatnot that you put on it. It just was not going to do me any good. I needed the weapon system. The basic idea behind me wanting to acquire one of these systems was for a purely defensive role. Plinking, fun factor, and cool factor aside, that was the primary need that I needed to fill for myself and my family. And through my research on these different types of systems, the AR-15 stood out to me the most because of how versatile it is and how easily it is to upgrade it as you go along. So being able to acquire the AR-15 far earlier than if I saved up a lot of money and just had that tunnel vision of a mindset where I just had to have the best of the best regardless. That idea of if I had anything less than one of those $2,000 systems, I was just not going to be able to use it as that primary defensive role. Because now that I have the system and the baseline model, I'm capable of training with it, developing that skill set and becoming proficient with the system, and seeing exactly what it is that I need or don't need out of that system as an individual shooter. And having these tools to be able to do that is a really big part of that idea. I know that there are some higher grade manufactured AR-15 rifles out there, but to be able to make sure that my resources are used to their fullest potential is far more logically sound for me to be able to slowly upgrade the system as I go along. I wish I could afford to just dump out money and buy a brand new tricked out AR-15, and once I train with it realize that it's not what I need, or there's certain things about it that is not what I need, and turn right around and spend more money on a other type of AR-15 system, or spend money to reconfigure that top shelf system that I bought. But that's just not feasible for me or my budget, and I think it's the same for a lot of people out there. So I'm just wanting to give people a real good basic reference of what it entails to incorporate that type of thinking into their own personal defense system. I'm not saying that this is how you need to do it or how you should do it. I'm not saying how you should spend your money. I'm not telling you what platform is better or what platform you shouldn't get or what platform you should get. You know, I understand that there's a lot of people out there who look at this stuff as a pissing contest. Their rifle is better than anybody else's. Or when you ask which AR-15 is the best, everybody has their own personal choice. Asking which weapons platform is the best, or in this case, as we're referencing the AR-15, asking which model of the AR-15 is the best is like going to the races at a drag strip and asking, you know, which motor is the best, which car is the best, which high performance motor is the best. you're just not going to get a solid answer. And each one of those, even in the drag race, each one of those guys has customized their vehicles to fit their needs personally. There is no win-all system. It's going to come down to how it fits to you personally as a shooter. If you begin with the basic model, regardless of fit and form, and you train with that basic model, emphasis on train with that system, you will find its shortcomings, its quirks, and its flaws. And you will be able to train to overcome them, learn how to address them, learn how to adapt to them, and learn how to fix them. You know, and even these top shelf systems, these $2,000, $3,000 systems, they still have their shortcomings, and they have their quirks, they have their problems, and you'll still need to train with them. But you will also see what it is you need as an individual shooter to progress and define your skill set with the system, and choose and incorporate upgrades as needed. If and when a really bad set of circumstances presents itself, are you really going to be logistically resourceful with a close quarter battle system? Or are you going to need a good medium range system with a better accuracy and velocity? You know, take time to seriously look at what your needs won't be while you're training with the system. Not before you buy your decked out $3,000 race gun, but while you are training with what you can truly afford. If you need a system tomorrow, saving up for 2 years with money in the bank isn't going to do you a lick of good if you're capable of getting a good system today. And as you train and see what you will need out of your system, your marksmanship skills have grown, and you're tired of the 3-inch groups, you know, out at 400 meters, 500 meters. So now you can go out and get you a better barrel. Need a good set of backup iron sights? Now you can go and get those backup iron sights, or get you a quad rail to add those backup iron sights. And, you know, and if your system is just fine the way you like it, then you can use that money to go ahead and upgrade and buy a better quality upper or lower receiver. I cannot think of any other system that allows you to do all this with the ease and practicality of the AR. As you train with the system, your system can grow with you or change as your needs and demands and environments change. One of the biggest reasons for the AR-15, besides its outstanding durability and craftsmanship, the ideas that Stoner brought together in the weapons design, is that it is American made. 90%, I'll say about 90% of all things for the AR-15, and I'm not talking about tactical gear, I'm just talking about things that are completely relevant to the AR-15. About 90% of that, probably more, is made in America. American business should employ Americans, and these people who employ Americans pay Americans. Americans should buy American. If everybody bought American, then American wouldn't be as high of a price as it is. And not only that, I don't care if it is a higher cost, I'm still employing Americans by buying American. Like I said, I'm lower to middle class income, but I'm willing to support my fellow Americans by putting food on their table because of the economic situations that are in America at this time. So, feed Americans by buying American. And that's pretty much what this project is all about. It's just the layman's AR, the average person's AR-15, and how they're capable of maintaining it within their budget, regardless of their income. And as the project goes along, I have some how-to videos demonstrating some walkthroughs to upgrade your system. After compiling this introduction, I'm not too happy with a lot of the video that I've already shot, so there's a good chance I'm going to be going back through and reshooting the video or re-editing. Also knowing that it's going to take me the time that it will to be able to re-edit and go back over those videos that I've already shot. Maybe some viewer input might help me decide which one is to release next, exactly what it is you guys are wanting to see. But I'm going to do everything I can to get those out as soon as possible. I hope you found this introduction informative. I hope you found this introduction a bit enlightening. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching, and keep your eye out for those new videos as I'm capable of getting them out to you. Thanks.